Hello Reds, welcome along to All for United.
Hello and welcome to All for United with me, John Foster, MUFC. How you doing, Natalie? You okay, mate?
I'm good, John. Happy to be back on. Just here to talk, isn't it? Talk about the game.
Absolutely. Well, the season's over, but the shows aren't over. Loads of transfer talk now, loads of things we can get into, digest the season and look forward to next season. And helping us to dissect last season is Rodney. How you doing, Rodney?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. Thanks for having me back on. Appreciate it.
No problem. I'm looking forward to this one. I always do, Rodney, so it's going to be a good one. So we're going to talk a bit about Jane Ross today. We're going to talk about what we read a couple of days ago. We're going to be talking a bit about Ona, about her winning Player of the Season, but also what we saw on Twitter today, and also what Natalie saw in the stadium as well on Sunday. It was brilliant to see. And also, obviously, just a few ins and outs, a few possibilities there. We're going to talk about the Devs win, because obviously the Devs won 2-0 yesterday, so we'll touch on that one. But more than anything, we just wanted to kind of put to bed last season now. So we're going to spend a couple of shows just now that the Casey Stoney thing's kind of over with, and we've kind of come to terms with what's happened. We just want to kind of put that to one side and just talk a little bit about the season as a whole. So that's kind of what we're going to be doing today. So let's just give a few shout outs to a few people in the comments. Ben, thank you. Connor, nice one, mate. John Neville, John Fry, Vicky, Karthik, they're all coming in now. Let's get a few of these comments on the screen.
Get the likes on. Get the likes. Smash the like.
Speaking about the likes, speaking about the views, I didn't want to mention it last week because it wasn't the right time, because it was all about Casey. But this show has now smashed through 20,000 views since we've started. So you divide that by 58 shows, we average about 350 views per show. 350, 360, something like that, which is amazing. And we've also got 1,500 thumbs up. So really good to see. So thank you for keep on supporting. It's great. It really is. Natalie, let's start off with yourself. Jane Ross. So it was it was kind of announced. I'm not even going to try and name the Italian sauce. It began with T. I'm going to call it Toto or something because it's a long word.
Toto Sports or something. Toto Sports or something like that.
Yeah, I've got some. Go on, Nathan. You make a start.
As far as I'm aware, probably one that's, well, she's in contract, but it sounds like her agent, or whether she's been told or what, but it sounds like she's probably going to Italy. She's been liking a lot of Italian teams and stuff like that. Apparently she's looking for a new challenge in Italy. I think Jane Ross agent working hard. I think it'll be good for everyone. I think, when she came in, people were a bit upset, thinking, and we'll talk about obviously Carla going to big breaking news. Obviously she went to Birmingham to Aston Villa, so it is a big one. But Jane Ross, when she came in, I think people were like, is this really the level? Unfortunately, she's not really shown the full potential. I think she did really well towards the end of the season, though. I think Bristol game, Everton game, and then even Leicester when she got the goal. I think she did really well. So I think she's probably played herself up maybe for these teams. And, everyone will thank her. But I think it's best for both parties. And, Juventus, Roma, whoever, Fiorentina.
That's the ones, yeah.
Let's go. And I think we'll get a fee for it. So, or we might waiver the fee. But if we can get a fee, let's go. I'm happy. And hopefully any fee we do get for any player, so like LJ, Jane Ross, dare say, I don't want to upset anyone, but if Jackie, we should be getting fees now. There's no, I don't mean it has to be, for Jane Ross, it has to be 300 grand or anything. No. 20 grand or something less, or I don't know, something like that would be really good if we could, and then it goes back into the women's team. I'd like to see that, definitely.
Yeah, just more quick take on it. So yeah, you mentioned the 3 teams there. I think the quote was in the article that she's determined to leave and she wants to get overseas experience. It surprised me a little bit because of strong rumours about Jess and LJ going, strong rumours about Press and Heath. That's like, well, 3 of those 4 names are out-and-out strikers. That only leaves us with Russo and Fuso, who haven't played much this season. I appreciate that Jane Ross isn't a front runner in the squad, but that's a big, massive hit to our front line if that does happen. And that's kind of why I was thinking a little bit, really. But Ronnie, what are your thoughts on that story, mate?
I'm surprised she stayed as long as she had. Got to be honest with you. Honestly, I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised she stayed as long, and I'm not surprised she didn't get much game time. When we think back to the numerous comments that Casey has meant about squad depth and quality, I mean, she asked her to stay, and she stayed, and she never used her that much. So I think from the club's point of view, they kept hold of a player they never utilised properly or to the full extent. And from Jane's position, she's reaching a certain part of her career where she thinks, I need to experience something else. And this may be the last chance I get. So if her agent is, worth their salt, whatever they're being paid, tout her around, because Manchester United right now, without a manager, you've got no guarantee that you're going to be doing the first squad, let alone the first 11, within the first round of the squad call-up. So, she needs to move on. If she needs to move on, that's what she should do. But I'll be honest with you, I'm not surprised. And as I've said, I'm surprised she stayed there as long as she has.
Yeah, I think that's a fair comment. And obviously, I'm getting more worried about the amount of peak players now that we need to bring in. However, we may even have someone in the devs that could potentially take that spot. So at least then you're thinking about the future, aren't you? And try and do it that way.
Well, for me, John, the person who's played probably the same amount as her, but I'd love to see a lot more play. Carrie Jones, for me, she's like Tooney, but I think you can play her a lot further forward. I think she harries, I think she chases, I think she'd play our game a lot better than, say, Jane Ross, who just sort of, not in a horrible way, but stands up front, maybe didn't move as much, not as much pace. Whereas Carrie, she would be pressing. She is the pressing game. She epitomises it for me. She didn't play in the devs last night, so for me, I think that means that she's a first teamer along with Tara. But if you're talking about people coming through, there's lots of young quality strikers or forward players in the development team, the under 21s that we call them the devs, because
we can go on to them, can't we? Because obviously you got information from obviously yesterday, so yeah, we can obviously touch on that as well. But yeah, so let's see where that one goes, because I think that a few weeks ago we probably thought, yeah, Jane Ross will probably go, she's not getting much game time. But then I'm kind of 50-50 about it, because she's still under contract and because of LJ, Jess and Press going. I was kind of umming and ahhing about it. Ronda, I never actually kind of introduced you properly. I wanted to kind of I got straight in there with the Jane Ross.
Listen, it's the best way to be like wallpaper, so you don't get noticed. Just dive in and you just carry on. People just think, yeah, that's fine, carry on. So don't worry about that. Not at all. Don't worry.
Well, I'm sure everyone knows who Ronnie is anyway. If not, please click on his Twitter and his on YouTube
don't
as
worry
well.
About that.
But yeah, so also what we've seen on Twitter today is Ona celebrating with some Barcelona players. Nothing wrong with that in my eyes. Obviously, Spanish lady who obviously got loads of friends over there. Why shouldn't she be celebrating? I think a few people kind of got a little bit worried. The fact that Barcelona do well for themselves. She's Spanish. We're kind of in an unstable position at the moment. But from what we saw at the stadium, Nat, she's very pleased to be here. If you just want to touch on what you just saw, and then obviously we'll discuss a little bit about Ona.
Obviously, that video is a bit unsettling. I understand why people feel a bit away, because you look at them, they're smashing it, they've won the treble. They annihilated Chelsea. They're the best team in the world right now. And, you know, she's from Barcelona. She's from that region. So obviously you're nervous. But what you need to really think, she had the chance this season. So she could have been a treble winner. You know what I'm saying? She could have been it. But she came to Manchester. They would have had to pay a lot of money. They still would have to pay a lot of money if they wanted to now. And it's 2 more years. I know someone sort of said, oh, it's only 1 more year. No, it's 2 because we've got an extension on it. So for me, what I saw at the stadium, you were there as well, John. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm saying too much, but I felt it was I felt a connection. She didn't say much because probably she didn't know what to say. She has a little Manc accent. She has a little Brummie accent. She don't know what she's doing. But listen, I felt a connection. Maybe I'm over exaggerating it, but I just felt the way she looked at us, the way it was everything, and then kiss out the window, bang. She's ready. She's excited for next season. She's done a video where she spoke a little brief English and she said, yeah, we've not got Champions League, but we're fighting for next year, and I'll see you soon, and I'll see you next year, and all this stuff. She ain't going nowhere. We want to see us having a manager there and everything. I know we'll get into it, but she's got time here. Don't worry. I wasn't worried. I mean, I get why fans don't want to see it. I don't want to see any of our players going and thinking, but like I said, they're her friends. They're not. I don't think she's seeing it as a, let me eye up this, let me do this. Like, no, it's not like Jane Ross where she's, pushing her agent out there to do stuff. It's, I'm happy here, but these are my mates and they're just one. So obviously I'm going to be with them.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's what I think. So she was a named player of the season, and we're going to do a show on Monday where we talk about not just Ona, but some of the other possibilities as well. Give some of them a shout out. But obviously tonight's show belongs more to Ona. Rodney, what's your thoughts on the season that she's had, coming from a different country and settling straight in from her very first game? I think she was player of the match on the first game or second game, and I think she just done really well. But obviously, what are your thoughts?
If it wasn't for her surname, which I find difficult to pronounce,
I don't even try.
You wouldn't know that she was new to the country in terms of her performance within the United team and within the WSL. So her kind of, you'd not say breakthrough season, but her season within English football has been brilliant. You look at it and you just think, I wonder what more you can do when you are actually settled, because you got to remember, she arrived during COVID, which means isolating from friends, not being able to go around like normal people would do, and socializing with teammates in a certain way, just understanding the city and where she lives, all of the things that you take for granted in a normal situation. But she, on the pictures, has demonstrated that she's up for it, and she's a really good player. So, I'm thinking next season, she's definitely going to be a player that not only is combative in the tackle, because she does like a tackle, she's going to add a little bit more going forward for the team in an attacking sense. And I want to just add one thing, and I have to agree with what Natalie said about not being worried about her going. If you're from Barcelona, you support Barcelona. That's just a given. But she's playing her football here, and if she's good, I don't see her leaving. Maybe in a year's time or 2 years' time when her contract is up, but I don't see anything happening this window. And if it does happen, then Barcelona will have to spend a considerable amount of money to get her, which is not impossible considering what they've just won.
True. Yeah. What are your thoughts on that then, Nat? Because obviously we can't imagine her going anywhere. I don't think there's any need to go anywhere just yet. If we don't make top 3 next season, then maybe. But I don't think there's anything.
That's what it'll be, John, isn't it? Like, I think the aim this year, it's always been said, Champions League next year. Obviously, that's not going to happen. But for me, I think it's minimum that. Yeah, she blew us a kiss. She loved the song. That's what I'm saying. Well. Yeah, you just, I think it's different. And I remember her very first game, she said, as soon as I've walked in the door, I just felt this love, this instant sort of passion that the fans have. I don't know how she felt it. Maybe it's just through everyone bombarding her socials and follows going up and people messaging her. She never probably, probably never even heard of her, but people were just like, boom, boom, sending her like United emojis and all this kind of stuff. And so I think she felt it. I think it's a different kind of league. I think, Barcelona are really good and they deserve to win everything they've won. But in that league, they're like 20 points ahead of everyone else. They won the league 5 years, a couple of months ago. They won it before they even played City, I think, or they won it the week after they played City, and that was the quarterfinals. So, does she want to be somewhere where it's competitive, where it's easy to see, where it's all that kind of thing? But obviously, she want to be in a team that's competitive. So we need to do what we're doing and make it appealing to stay here, because I think there's a lot of people that, I'm not saying that she doesn't support Barcelona, obviously she'll always, but need to make, I sort of said this to you, make people fall in love with the club when they come, and we need to have the same ambition as all these players. And, it's now. Our time is now. If we're not going to do it now, there's no point in doing it, really. I think if we're not going to smash ahead, storm ahead, then what are we doing? Because Man United, that name is synonymous with winning, both the men and the women, and it should be. And everything that's gone on this season, I think they just need to really, both teams, steam ahead, because this name will only get you so far. We've talked about it with Emma. You can't live off the name. You got to do what you got to build forward. And if we're not, then yeah, she will leave. If we are, for me, I think if we win something, get the third, then we do well in the Champions League next year. Why not sign another deal? But let's see.
Yeah. Rodney, just to finish up on Anna, was she your player of the season? And also, if that is the case, would she be in one of your WSL team of the season as well, maybe? Or is that just a bit too far? It's really difficult to say that she isn't, but I think also, Leah Galton is probably my player of the season, even though she was just injured, should I say, for a period, because it just demonstrated how important she is to the team and how important she is to the United style of play. So I mean, it's a close one to say whether she's my player of the season, but I can see why she would be everyone's player of the season because of what she's demonstrated on the pitch. But so what was the second part of the question, John? I'll just think about like the actual WSL like team of the season. I mean, as a fullback, obviously, she definitely makes the 15. She definitely makes the 50 because you've got to look at right across the league, and even though the league has a disparity in terms of the score lines that are dispatched week in, week out, there are individual players who play well within their position, and if they were in another team, they would do well. So I would have her in the 15, and then whoever's managing that 15, they can sort that out. That's a good way.
For me, I'd have her as the number one. I know people say Lucy Bronze this and that, but if you look at the stats,
I think Lucy Bronze is more of a midfielder.
I'd have McCabe one side, on the other. I think Bronze hasn't lived up to expectations that she set herself this year, but that's my opinion.
I would actually agree with Natalie, but I would have Bronze in the team, but further forward. I wouldn't have her at right back. I wouldn't.
We'll have to do a separate show and do a whole
team of the season. We did it with Emma. Remember we did the City and United team? We'll do that with Emma.
Yeah, we'll do that.
We'll invite you back on for that one, Rodney.
Yeah. No worries. Get my pen and paper for that one.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments if you're in your WSL team this season. I'll probably I can understand why the Arsenal fullback would come up because she got a lot of assists as well. I might go for Honor and Bronze, but let's see. Just join in the comments while we move on to the next subject. Whilst we're talking about ins and outs a little bit, loads of stuff I'm hearing, whether it be on private groups or on social media, about the LG21. Now, Rodney, you was there in that first season. I know, obviously, you've been on the United journey from day one. Can you see some of those players moving on this summer?
Well, the original batch of players.
Yeah, obviously not all of them. Hopefully not all of them, but
you know, I mean, the ones that are there, obviously, like Jessica.
Yeah.
You kind of going to ask yourself, she didn't get enough game time for me under Casey. Would she want to stay another season? We know that LJ's gone. I don't know. Do you know what? I think for the players that I don't want to see move on, let's start with that. I would say it would be a crime if Millie Turner said she was going. You know, it would be, because I think she's a really, really talented centre back. And it would be a crime if she was moving on. For the others, it's really strange, because if you say, you know, is it time for them to move on? Who are you going to get in? You know, who are you going to get in to replace?
Yeah,
an individual like I don't know who you would think is moving on, but who would you get in as a like for like?
The ones who obviously we haven't heard of any rumours, obviously Tooney, Galton, Hansen, Millie. I think those are the four.
They're under long-term contracts, aren't they?
Yeah.
Sort of long-term for the women's game.
Yeah. Well, good.
But any of the rest, Rodney, it's kind of up in the air at the moment. That's all I'm saying. It's just up in the air.
Yeah.
And with a new manager as well. Original 21 doesn't mean anything to the new manager.
Well, whoever comes in, either they're coming in under their own steam and they have their own ideas, or they're going to be handcuffed to what went before. So, you know, are you or anyone else expecting a new manager to come in and say you've got to work with these players? They have to find out that for themselves. You know, so whoever comes in may feel that someone like Jessica, who didn't get enough game time, will be starting. You just don't know. And you might see. For me, I never understood why she never got enough game time in the position that she was initially bought, and the goals that she scored in the championship. She kept playing wide on the right. It's not her position.
Yeah,
that's her position.
Yeah, I could understand on the third season, but that second season we had to play more, didn't we?
Yeah, I mean, look. When you look at the league table, it's about goals scored. That's what it comes down to, goals scored. And again, there was so many conversations and post-match comments talking about squad depth and quality of players. If you're not scoring goals, if you're not scoring goals, then you're in trouble. We started the show talking about Jane Ross going to Italy. How many goals did she score this season?
4. No, probably less than 2.
Yeah.
Listen, if you haven't got a striker in your team, whether it's in the WSL or Championship, that's not scoring 10 league goals, you're in trouble. You're not going to make the top 3.
Tooney's our top goal scorer this season, and she scored like 10 or 11 as an attacking midfielder.
What league goals?
Scored 9 league goals.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, well, you know, for Tooney, that's outstanding, because it always comes down to, if your strikers aren't scoring, you need your midfield to bail you out. Yeah. She's done that from her point of view, but the strikers haven't done enough, and that's what you've got to look at. Any team will concede. Doesn't matter who you are, you concede goals. We saw that in the Champions League. You need your strikers to score goals, and if they don't score, then you get beat, or you don't get.
Can I just say though, as well? Sorry, Rodney.
Yeah, go
our
ahead.
striker was Kristen Press, mate. And whether she was left or right, whatever, she was World Cup winner. Yeah.
No doubt.
I think we put a lot of emphasis on her, especially after Tobin got injured. It was right now. Press is going to save us, and you know, sometimes it doesn't work out.
It didn't work out. Do you know what? I understand. You bring in a World Cup winner as a striker, you expect to play them, but if they're not getting the goals, then you've got to look at something and say, is it the system, or do I need to rotate the players in that system? You know, and it just didn't work out. And I just, you know, for me, I look at it and I think, you know what, it was a very good season. We're now worried about the players that are going or possibly going, but that would happen with any manager. That would probably happen if Casey was still there. We'd be worrying about who's going.
Well, I just want to say, we had Emma on this show, and she said pretty much Casey's done the business because Casey does her business early. Casey would have told everyone who's not getting a new deal. So I think everyone who's going, it's Casey who's
already said that, and they would have been told that from January.
Yeah.
Didn't she do that in the championship season as well? Was it Charlie Devlin knew before? Yeah,
and she did it in the season, just in the COVID season. So she did the same.
Okay.
So that's how she operates. I mean, I see Vicky saying about Russo, and that's what even Emma said. 3 goals in 4 games, 2 assists, and then obviously injured, never to play again. Who knows? If she plays a lot more next season, she'll be the one getting your 10, 15 goals. But I'm seeing a lot of chat about Fuso. She was also injured. She only played a couple of games.
Yeah.
But we do need to see a lot more from her.
Yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult. That's the reality. And I think regardless of being worried about the players that are going out, we know some are going out. Who's going to come in and score the goals? Jane Ross being touted to Italy, and I don't know about Jessica if she's staying or going. You might know a little bit more than that, but she is no different to Jane because she spent the bulk of her season on the sideline watching.
The way I see it is, I mean, we've sort of heard all of the names.
Yeah.
Jessie was talked about going Leicester, Abby Mack potentially joining her.
What, at Leicester?
Now you're hearing Jane Ross being linked to Italy. I'm sure we can think of other players that might
LJ, is LJ definitely gone? Is that confirmed? Is that done? Or is that just still a rumour?
As far as I felt when I saw her and I spoke to her, and then she gave me a shirt. Yes.
Okay, is that a signature then? Yeah.
Well, it's not a signature. But we're waiting on the money, innit? Pay up. Pay the money. That's it. If you want to pay the money, she's under contract. I think she's got 2 years. So pay the money.
Yeah.
And that's what the big bosses should be doing. Well, where's the money?
It'll probably be done. Shame.
Yeah.
I was going to say Jonathan agrees with you, but obviously I think we've all said it. Rivals have said it. Our own fans have said it. We just missed that goal scorer, haven't we? And it's a shame because Russo and Press should have been those goal scorers. Obviously, one's been injured, one's been in and out, and she only really gained form on the last 3 games that she played because she was constantly playing. But that's just something that we obviously need to work on next season. And if Russo stays fit for the whole season, she could quite easily get more than 10 goals a season, But yeah, obviously that's just something to be looking at. Just one more topic before we move on to the devs. Obviously, Nat, you've obviously been speaking to people behind the scenes regarding a potential in. Obviously, you don't need to name them if you don't want to, but obviously.
Yeah, name please.
I imagine it's come from reliable, reputable sources just because Casey's gone, don't mean that work's not all being done. That's all I'll say. And just everyone stay positive and, different. I don't even want to say any names because we're not, but, agents are looking at our club as a good place for their players. That's all I know. So it's, I'm seeing a lot of talk. I actually saw it before I come on, and you're seeing Arsenal linked with this. You're seeing Chelsea's made a signing. You're seeing City have re-signed. And I'm like, and then I see our Twitter, and it's like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Wake up. And I'm thinking, calm down, mate. You know how it works. You know that the outgoings, even in year 1 in it, Rodney, it's a post for the outgoings. Yeah. And in year 2, they did it post by post, week by week. Not, so there's post for the outgoings, and then you get your incomings. Keep it cool, people, mate. Keep it cool. Listen, Vicky, she was supposed to, says she's not still. That she did an interview where she says, I'm at this club now just to get minutes. Then I'm going to go somewhere in the summer, when it starts again. And they said to her, you go into Man United. She said, no comment. So that says it all to me, mate. Yeah? Read between the lines, people. Keep it cool. The good things will happen. Let everyone else do theirs. Because remember when City did their Americans and we were looking, who are we getting? And even Rachel Daly went to West Ham. We thought, bloody hell, what are we going to do? Bang, Tobin. Bang, Kristen. Don't worry. Keep it calm. Look at me. I'm the one telling you guys to keep it calm. Yeah? Listen. I'm having to tell you to remain calm. You know that you're going over the top.
Oh, gosh. Nat, keep it calm.
Yeah, man. The good stuff will come.
Trust me. Nat, last night our devs played. Now, obviously, we haven't spoken about them much on this channel. I think we will do going forward, especially when the new season starts and we can get to a few games and this, that, and the other, and a bit more information comes out. But obviously, you got a bit of information from last night. What were your thoughts on that game?
Yeah, they played Burnley, so the same team we beat. The first team beat 6-0. The under-21 team beat 2-0. So let's not then hype up the girls. Obviously, Burnley are third tier. Come from work, that kind of level. It's semi-pro, but they held their own. They have good attacking play. They have, they can pass the ball at the back. It was the same players that have played before. I know I've not talked about it on this show, but there's a good solid centre back pairing of Poppy Lawson and Chloe Broughton. The midfield, Rebecca May, we've seen her play get game time versus Reading, and I don't know if she played versus Chelsea last year. I don't think she played versus Chelsea, but we've seen her get game time before in the first team. Like I said, Tara and Carrie weren't there, so I see that as a positive rather than a negative. I see that as they are first team squad 100. They're not even dropping down for the devs to play games. That's their position in the first team, which is really good. Maria Edwards, everyone knows about her. She went off to Blackburn on loan. She played some minutes. She got an assist. That's really good. Chloe Williams, who's had minutes, I think, versus City, or she was on the bench versus City first season. She got minutes. She looked really good. There's a lot of really good players in there, few of them 18, but then even a few 16 or younger came on and, were doing really well up front, attacking options. So for me, the way that they play is the same way the first team play. Very, very good. Very, the ball control, the passing. It's really, really good. Top quality. Like I said, I've seen, I think this season with the devs, they've been on, off, lockdown, this, lockdown, are they pro, are they not? So it's been that kind of vibe. We know it got cancelled, but then they ended up turning elite and getting tested. So, I can see, I've seen a question there, how many devs can you see stepping up? I can see a few. Listen, Carrie and Tara are holding their own, so I can see a few. Who? I don't know. I can see a few leaving to get first team football, like they have done.
Or on loan. Yeah.
Or on loan, like Maz has done.
Yeah.
That's what I can see happening. Maybe a few go into championship. I've seen that, obviously, with maybe that's what Birmingham will do, whoever their manager is. But obviously, Carla Ward took Ruby Mace from Arsenal devs. She took Emily Murphy from Chelsea Dev. She took Jamie Lee Napier from Chelsea Dev. So, a team like Birmingham, you might not want your kids there, but it's WSL football at the end of the day. So why not? They might get battered a few times, but you want the minutes in the legs and you want them to play against the best of the best. If you think they can do it, for me, I think that Ruby Mace has really cemented herself as a really good player. A lot of people are talking about her a lot more. Apparently she's going to City as well, I've heard. But that's just through, getting out on loan to Birmingham. I mean, that Emily Murphy, she had a couple of games for Chelsea, but then now she's played full first-team football for Birmingham, and that'll do her a world of good. And whether she goes back to Chelsea and this and that, I don't know. That's her business. But she's a solid WSL player for me, for watching Birmingham. So, yeah, why not send them to Birmingham or send them to Carla Ward at Villa if she'll take someone like that, but she'll probably have a bit more money now. But, you know, Blackburn is there, Sheffield's there. I think that's the way it's going now with a lot of these. I think they can get loaned out to all over, as it should be. You know, you want your you want it for the men's, you want under 23s to go out and get first team football. Yeah. So why don't we want it for the young under 21 girls as well?
Couple of 2 or 3 things from the comments. So first of all, Maria Edwards, I'm sure she won Young Player of the Year as well, or something like that. She won some.
Yeah, she did.
So playing for Blackburn, who didn't particularly do that well last season, for her to still win that award, I think is really honourable. And another thing, obviously, Carla's been mentioned in the comments. Am I right? She didn't get any game time on that yesterday.
She's in a full tracksuit. She didn't get any game time. Not saying I don't know. But listen, she was never going to play yesterday. I think a lot of people think Solskjaer. Oh, she's going to do this. She's going to do X, Y, Z. No, let her just do what she's got to do. Yeah. I know. We've said it personally, haven't we, John? And I get it. I get the hype. I love it. It's great, but you know, don't put that pressure on her. Just let the girl develop at her own rate and do what she's got to do. I mean, God, if she did, of course we'd go wild, you know. But just let her just do what she's got to do. Don't expect anything from her just because her name's Solskjaer. Please, I beg you, just leave her to do what she's going to do. Yeah.
Go on, Rodney.
It's true, though, isn't it, Rodney? It's true.
I know. I mean, what Nat's saying is right. Just because your name's Solskjaer, people automatically think it's like saying my surname's Christmas and I've got presents in my bag. It's just, you know, it's not a given. Just let her develop, and if she didn't play, then she didn't play. So just time. Yeah, there's one thing that, you know, when you were both saying about the devs going out on loan, I just thought, you know, it's the kind of thing you would want the WSL or those in the FA to look at and say, we need an academy league, not just to send kids out on loan. Because, you know, if you're sending them out on loan to Birmingham, and, you know, like, you know, Nat says, you might get bashed up a couple of times. I mean, that could be good and bad, but there needs to be, you know, as there is for under 23s, under 21s, under 18s in the men's game, there needs to be a league that they can say, this is structured, it's part and parcel of the women's game. And it's not just, you know, that's fully in place for them. And it's not just if you don't get into the first team, you go out and loan. You can actually be part of something that is sustainable. But
I think there is Rodney, but I think it's the same with the 23 league.
Yeah.
What do they get out of it? Yeah. For me, I think, and this might upset a lot of people now, but I think with the men's first team, we've seen like the men's 23s have like played Salford and stuff like that, and I think, like you said, that upsets a lot of their, you know, fans like that. But I would love to see it, and it's something I've said before. I'd love to see like a cup or something where you play tier 3, tier 4. So they play full women's teams.
Yeah.
Or even play championship teams. I'd love to see that. I know that there have been a few games where, you know, Villa development team have won against top championship teams. I know we've beaten Blackburn. Like our devs have beaten Blackburn. So, you know, Blackburn are what, 5th or 6th? So I'd love to see our devs play Lewisham or something like that. I'd love them to play Liverpool. You know, I'd love them to go up against proper established and maybe be a cup for it or something like that. Because, you know, like you said, the FA, look at Ruby Mace. She's like gone out on Birmingham. She's like going to be one of the stars. So for me, like you said, she should just be able to play in the development league, WSL Academy, and there be some kind of cup or something like that, and it goes and it does well.
Yeah, for me, I just think there was so much of this season and the previous season where games were called off because of i.e. COVID or the weather, and if they were playing not necessarily on grass pitches but different facilities like 4G pitch where they would get the game time, because it's all, if you can't develop as a player if you're not getting the minutes. You just can't. You know, you could do all the training in the world, but if you're not in a game, if you're not in game mode, you don't know what to do or what you did wrong and learn from what you did wrong. You're always training. So it's, you know, I look at it and I think, I agree with you about Birmingham. It's a good ground. But with everything that we know about Birmingham, all of the bad news that they've had and the problems that the players have had, if you're sending your young player there, you might as well keep him in your academy or your development team. I'll be honest with you, you might as well.
Vicky say something similar to yourself there, Rodney. Now substitute for playing competitive football. It's true, isn't it? Yeah. I've left that comment on screen. I think it's a good question, because from what I've seen on other fan groups, they're kind of like not closing down as such for a couple of months, but they're taking it easy for a couple of months in between the seasons. We're not doing that. We're carrying on. So we've still got the Monday and Thursday show that we've always got. If you're on our Twitter account, we've got Matt Crane, who talks a lot about women's football in general on Tuesday nights. And we've got Ben in the comments, who has a Saturday Night Live as well. But we are going to do extra shows as well, because there's so many people that want to come on the show who want to talk about whatever they want to talk about. We will be doing a Friday show. And I know Natalie's got something in mind for a Wednesday show as well. So we're talking about the guys. We're still going to be here.
Is this the Nat show? Will it be Nat show? That's
Nat
right.
Show, yeah.
About bloody time. About bloody time. So you waiting for? Waiting for?
Listen, don't worry.
So we're not going anywhere. If anything, you'll
subscribe to the YouTube women's channel, or you'll miss it out on the Nat Show. So yeah, get on the channel, get subscribed to it. Yeah.
Yeah, so plenty of content. Rodney, let's stick with yourself then. So this season then, so obviously it's all over with now. What are your thoughts now that the season's over?
What, generally about the season or about Man United?
Well, I was actually going to ask you a bit of both. I mean, how do you think the WSL season's gone? But also obviously focus on the Man United as well after that one.
I think the season's gone quite well. I think it's been entertaining, considering. We've had good games, heavy defeats, great skill, COVID, Dubai Gate. How can we forget that?
Yeah.
A thrilling end to the season at both ends of the table. Chase from, obviously the winners, second, third, fourth, right up. And so, yeah, it was a good, I think it was a good footballing season. I just don't know what will happen next season, considering some of the departures. I think we've been quite used to seeing NWSL stars here, and if that's not the same next year, what will that mean? And obviously with the new deal coming in, that will be something else as well. But I think for this season, as from in terms of the football, it's been good. In terms of access for fans, some of the FA player stuff has not been good enough, and certain games could have been on the BBC. I don't mean BBC iPlayer. I mean actually turning on your TV and going to a channel that doesn't have anything on it until 10 o'clock at night, like BBC4. Because if I and you and everyone else pays for a TV license, why is the channel empty? So, seriously, why is the channel empty? It's empty. Put some football on it. But for Man United, I think it was a good season, and close. As I mentioned already, you need goal scorers. It comes down to winning games. You're always going to concede. Doesn't matter who you are, you're going to concede. You just need to score more than the other team, and just didn't work out for United. But again, more points than previous season. Good season. The only thing that I would have a moan about is not going for one of the cups.
Yeah, that's
the only thing.
Yeah. That's pretty much the way I would look at it as well. I think just stating facts there that obviously we've closed the gap, knocked out the cups too early. Obviously had a good start to the season, potentially overachieved in that first half, but then obviously underachieved in the second half, which made us drop away. But the thing that probably hits me the most is the fact that the goals scored, we're so far behind, aren't we? And we've spoken about it throughout the whole show, and we've spoken about it throughout the whole season. We talked about our defensive errors, but if you bagged a few more, it's the same kind of quantities. Yeah, we might have conceded 2, but we just scored 5 or something like that. So, definitely something that needs looking at next season. But Rodney, what was your expectations going into the season? I mean, was you kind of, I mean, sometimes when you talk about was it a successful season, it depends on what your expectation was. I think a lot of fans would have thought fourth minimum, third a possibility, especially when Preston Heath came in. But is that kind of where you was, pretty much lingering around third and fourth?
Third could have been a possibility. Fourth was probably what I thought. But for me, it was always about Manchester United needed to win a cup. You needed. I felt that it was no good just chasing Champions League spots. I felt, considering the personnel at the club, a trophy would have been an adequate thing to obtain. Really a knockout competition where you just go hell for leather in that game and say, we're going to outscore you. And Man United can outscore teams. They've got the personnel. Over a league campaign, you've got different things to contend with. So that's the only thing that I would kind of say was a bit of a downer. But overall, I would say it's a good season. I would say it was a good season.
Natalie, if you want to jump on that, but just before you do,
go on.
I was going to say, I'm kicking myself the fact that we just couldn't keep more players fit, because if you have a look at our starting 11 before Christmas, I'll stand by it. We was top for a reason. Heath, Galton, Russo up front, Tooney, Ladd, and Jack. It was mint. Amy Turner, military after the season, brilliant. Curtis Smith was playing every game when we was top of the league. On the other side, Mary Earps had a steady season, didn't make half as many mistakes as the second season. For that, up until December, January, we was up there for a reason. It's just the drop-off, unfortunately, when those players got injured.
Yeah, we know, well, it's been well documented why, you know what I'm saying? But we're not talking about that today. In terms for me, yeah, it was ruined by long-term injuries, but I still, it sounds so, she said it though, so it was a failure. It sounds, I hate saying it because I wanted third, but if we looked at it from, we had built our way up and then we got this close and then we got a 1 point, I would have said yeah, but I think the fact that you've gone from first to fourth, you can't deny it's not good enough. The way that, yeah, I look at a game like Brighton, right? And we had Lucy Stan, we had Jess Sigsworth as a 9, we had Zellum, I don't know, Maria Terrace Doherty came in, Honor played, LJ even played that, but she came off injured, unfortunately. But we had enough there. And I know Brighton are a good side, but we had enough there. And I remember watching that game and it was just nothing. It was just lifeless. It was just no energy, no determination. It reminded me of the Brighton game where we got, but at least that game we got a 1-1. And I think about it and I think, yeah, we still would have thingy, but you know, I look at some of the chances Jess had, and I just, oh man, we had two really good chances, and there's chances that I look back on. I mean, I look back on the Reading game, and I think of that Tooney chance and she hit the post. I think of Honor Battle, and then I look at when West Ham played Reading, and all they did is just lob the keeper. That keeper is there to be lobbed. Not in a horrible way. I think she's a great keeper, Grace Maloney, but she's short. So what are you doing? Why are you not peppering the goal? And you know, even the Leicester game, yeah, it was an individual error at the back that let them come back in. But then we just fell apart and just, you know, and then Lucy Stan came out, oh, I'm sorry about that. And she even came out and said, should have scored more goals this season. Yeah, you should have. You know, it's not, oh, don't worry about it. No. Yes, you should have. Should have scored more goals. Should take more shots. Should be more ruthless, clinical. And I hate saying it, but it's the truth, you know. I think I'm being hard, but it's not being hard. You know, look back at even the Arsenal game. I look back at some of the, and I just, it's so hard to. And I think LJ was clear through on goal. There's another chance where Press came in, and I thought LJ was going to take it, but then Press came in, took it off her toes, and hit it wide. And I just think, you know, City game at their place, there was a chance before. They even went up, or a chance at 1-0 down. Leah crossed it through. I mean, losing Leah, Tobin, Russo, yeah, fair, but look behind your squad, look deep, and that's why, in a way, if people that are sitting on the bench are now going to go, I'm not crying because, I love them. They're everything. OG21, got the championship trophy up there, got boots there, got this there. I love them, but you were sitting on the bench, and when we needed you, you didn't step up to the level. No offence. So thank you. Come as far as we can go. If we're serious, which I don't know, we need better players. I don't know who them players are yet. We've talked about some names, but because now we're not in the Champions League, we're probably not going to get them. But there'll be players there. No, I agree. Tobin, and I said it on the show last week with Emma. I know she said Russo, but Tobin was a massive loss. And I think that the minute Tobin went, I look at our game versus City, they dominated us in that first half. Who pulled it back? Who had the guile, the nerve to do that? And it was Tobin. Tobin took that shot, bang, 2-1, and then that's it, boom, mentality change. And I think that's what a lot of it is. It's in our head. The minute we go down, well, we're out of it then. And I hate to say it, but I was watching that Brighton match and I couldn't watch it. I think I didn't even see the Ducks run on the pitch because I turned it off by then. Because I just knew. I turned it off by 60 minutes because I just knew. But I shouldn't be turning the game off knowing that we're going to lose. And, that's how it felt. And also, we know all this shit that was going in the background. So, in a way, I don't want to sort of sit and say, it was, them go fall in on her, in a way, Casey. But shot ourselves in the foot with everything that went on. Because for me, I know like this and that, but for me, I think we're just there. We're just there, can taste it. We weren't, like you said, we weren't top we were top for a reason. And, even if you look at counter in, Chelsea had a game in hand, okay, so it would have been level on points. There's no way I look at that Arsenal and think, yeah, they're better than us. No way. But it is what it is. And, now, I think Rodney sort of hinted about like the NWSL players are going to go. Let's see where we all are. I know a lot of people are going to start again. I've seen City sort of starting again. When we probably joined, there's a different team to what's there now, and then there'll be a different team to what's we've got now. So next year, so, I think we have that core that's there. And like you said, you named it, Hansen, Leah, Turner, Jackie, Haley, Tooney. So that core's there, spine core, and especially on the wings. But yeah, if we have to get 2 or 3 strikers in, I'm ready. Let's go. Why? Because obviously what we've had before, that's always been our problem, scoring goals. And Championship scored 100 nearly. But in the WSL, our problem has always been clinical and taking chances and scoring goals. So for me, if the players have to go because they're not doing it, okay. I think the only one that could say I did it is Russo, but then obviously she got injured. So yeah, I don't know. That's my just 2 pence.
Just very quickly, and then I'll let just Ronnie say a few things. I think the season can be a failure if your target was 3rd and you got 4th, it's a failure. When you're top of the league, going strong, and then drop to 4th, that's a failure. I think the fact that we didn't get through the group stages and the cups, I think the cups was a failure. But I still think that even though you got that failure, there's still progression there. So yeah, there wasn't any progression in the cups, but I do think that we've progressed going forward. But now what I am thinking is all that progression that we have made, has that just been wiped away now with Casey leaving? And will it now take another season to kind of stabilise a little bit, get some players in? Because it looks like there's going to be a massive change at the club with the amount of players coming in and out. Will it take a little bit too long? Because I don't think City will get off to a bad start like they did last season. I don't think Arsenal will get off to a bad start like last season. We need to hit the ground running, and I don't know if we will. So that's kind of where I'm kind of sitting on it, but that's pretty much my thoughts. Ronnie, just a couple of things for yourself, just to kind of finish the show. First of all, I want to know like what your highlights of the season are, And then obviously just your final thoughts with Casey leaving.
Oh gosh, highlights of the season. What, for the league or Manchester United?
No, definitely Man United on this one, mate.
I'd probably say that the goal by Tobin against City.
There's a couple of good goals by Tobin.
I just thought that one was a proper like get in. Like I will not be on the end of a defeat. It was more, for me. That was one of the standout ones because you could see her qualities. Everyone knows that she's a World Cup winner, but you got to have a little bit of grit when you're playing, when things are going against you. And she demonstrated that, and you did. And in that moment, you could see that this is someone that's played football at the highest level and faced moments where you don't have all the ball. It's not going your way, and you think, something. I'm going to have to take this into my own hands and do something unexpected, and for me that was the moment for me. What was the second part of the question, John?
Obviously we haven't heard your thoughts on Casey leaving. We kind of said everything that we could possibly say now.
I mean, to be honest, I've looked at so many different things, and I've seen the article by Emma, and I've seen Susie Rack's article, and I've listened to bits, and I've seen Twitter threads, and There's talk about, the facilities and issues about the training and injuries. And I just think, maybe she became fed up with the project herself. Maybe she, and this is just a guess. This is just a big guess. There's nothing for me to say that this is definite. Maybe she became fed up with the project and knowing that the funds were not going to be there next season in terms of what she thought they needed, knowing full well that Heath and Press were going back to America because most of those players have played football during the COVID year, and things return to normal. That won't happen. And obviously there's the issues about injuries, but I just, there's the question of legacy, and everyone talks about what Casey has established at Manchester United. This is why I would say that last season for me, if there was one thing I'd moan about, it would be the lack of a trophy. Because if you have a trophy, that's the mark of something. And I don't know what you can actually pin down and say, that's down to Casey. Because even though everyone's saying that they will miss her and she's done fantastic things, there is still an element where people are saying they're upset about last season because they didn't make third. Third isn't a trophy. So in a year's time, 2 years' time, what will be Casey's legacy at Manchester United in terms of WSL football? If there had been a trophy, that would have been the legacy. But if there is nothing tangible to put your hands on that you can go and point to, I don't know what it is. I don't know. And that's just me, and, I don't necessarily probably have the same view as everyone else. Everyone will probably say there is a legacy, but, legacy for me, you have to be able to point to and say, this was achieved. But everyone is basically saying, and I've seen the comments, that last season was a failure. So which is it?
All I'm going to say is I think a legacy has been cut short, because I think if she had the full time that she should have had, where you did have that long-term plan, because it wasn't just a 3-year plan, it was a 5-year plan, then I think she would have probably got that legacy. But I do agree, in the 3 years she didn't win a cup. Well, you can't really include the championship season. But I do think that it was always going to be steady. It was never going to be second or third season, go right and overtake the top three.
Steady's good, John. Steady's good. But when you're in a cup competition,
the cup, I can't argue.
When you look at the Conti Cup competition, when United get beat by Liverpool, and everyone was like, "How did that happen?" Seriously, come on.
Oh yeah, that was. I think we kind of got away with that at the time because we was top of the league. If we weren't top of the league at the time, I think everyone would have gone even worse. I do agree. Yeah, that cup was terrible. Yeah. I'm going to try and finish on a high here with Natalie. What was your highlight of the season?
Again, Tobin, or I'd say Tobin's goal, or when we beat Arsenal. I think that was just like the best game, the best football that I've seen. That's why I know, man. Like, even in the Arsenal defeat, I still didn't see much from Arsenal. And I know when saying what is Casey's legacy and what is this, the way that she's picked this club from nothing to something, that's what I say as a legacy. Yeah, you want to see trophies. We've got the championship, but I think third, it would have been a success without a trophy. Because it would have been like real progression, like bang, 3 years Champions League. You couldn't have argued with that. I know Champions League isn't a trophy, but it just would have set us on a right path for getting players and doing all that we needed to do. Yeah, it's ended on a bit of a sour note, all just with everything that's happened, everything. But for me, it's progression in that we're still here, we're still fighting. I thought a lot of players would we were talking about Honor at the start. I thought she would have been first, someone like Honor, Jackie, they would have been the first ones out. But the names that we're hearing are the names that we're expecting, sort of, I do sort of worry still. And it's I worry for the whole club, not just the women. Obviously, I worry a lot for the women because they seem to get the short end of the straw in any kind of football team. If there's issues going on, it'll always be the women that's we think that the men's are worse, but then look at the women. So I do worry. I've still got that worry, but it's just everyone knows what I think about how to get to the promised land, and it's without these owners that we've got, and it's through. But I don't actually always say it, but it's through the protest, it's through joining Moss, it's through joining Supporters Trust, it's through putting pressure on. But yeah, that's what I think.
Rodney, just before we wrap up, have you got anybody in mind or a type of manager in mind? European, someone in WSL, someone from within?
What are the odds of Willie Kirk?
It's been mentioned.
Yeah. Why not?
I just think, for me it makes sense. Makes sense. If that's a possibility. And I, to be honest, I haven't thought beyond that name. I haven't, because I think the WSL is going to be in for a period where you need stability next season, and not a manager that doesn't know the league. You need someone coming in that knows the league.
Yeah.
For me, I think I want a European manager. I'm not in a. I want someone who's going to be doing things different. I want, I know how it works in England. I know what Willie Kirk. Everyone knows Willie Kirk. I want something different. I want to play sort of like Barcelona or like a German team, or that's what I want to do. And not Willie the Snake, but no, listen, I want.
It's different. It's
someone with European experience, with winning trophies.
Yeah.
To play that style, you've got to be immersed in that from childhood. It's got to be part of your culture. That Barcelona team, they move the ball in a very different way, and it takes a lot of time before you can see a team in this country play football like that.
But what I will say is, I think it will be a tough year next year. Tough year.
Oh yeah.
It'll be a lot tougher. I think it'll be a lot tougher next year, to be honest. Depending on the signings, but let's see. I am going to finish on a high note. Actually, David Beckham has been inducted into the Hall of Fame for the Premier League era. So it was only a matter of time. He was one of my favourite players ever. So well done to David Beckham. I've got to finish on that one. One day I can see you smiling on that one. Would you have got David Beckham in there? I think there's been about 7 or 8 names that's got in there now.
I mean, probably he wasn't my favourite United player, but yeah, he's well, I don't, to be honest, I have more than one. So Roy Keane's definitely in there, Cantona's in there, all of that generation, Schmeichel, you name it. David Beckham You know, he did great things for United and he did great things for England, but he wasn't necessarily my favourite. You know, sometimes you need. John, you should know that my favourite would be probably Roy Keane because I keep talking about Hayley Ladd.
Yeah, I guess I would have guessed. Yeah. Am I right in thinking that was it Ronaldo one of your favourites, Natalie?
Yeah, Ronaldo, but also Keno. Keno is everything, isn't it?
Yeah, everything.
That's my ear as well. Yeah. Well, we've come to the end of the show, guys. So it's Thursday today, which means there's a Twitter live that's going out tomorrow. We're going to trial a new show. So catch me on Twitter tomorrow with a few other guests at 7:30, I think that's going to be. We've got the usual show on Saturday. Not too sure if it's going to be pre-recorded or live, but that's the Ben and Matt's show. And then we'll go again on Monday next week. We've got loads of things planned, so please stay tuned. Have a little look at our new YouTube site as well. Subscribe to that one because as soon as we can, there's going to be about 3 or 4 shows a week on that YouTube account as well. So it's going to be massive. There's going to be every day of the week, apart from a Sunday, where you can actually watch us and a few of our mates talk about Man United women. So please get involved. Rodney, thank you very much for joining us again.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
If anybody wants to find your YouTube account or your...
Oh my gosh, yeah. You can follow me on the Twitter, might be there, at Rodney Cyrus or at Rodney_Cyrus, and it's at on and off the PIT1. Yeah, so all good stuff.
Natalie, yourself?
There, Natalie _17. Just get on that.
Excellent. Yeah. Look, thank you to everybody in the comments tonight. Thank you for all the interaction. We really appreciate it. And we shall see you again soon. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.